Hi guys, it's Tracy. I just wanted to discuss archiving your current year planners when you start your new year. We don't really discuss it that often on in the community, but some people will just throw away their planners. They'll just like be done with it, chuck them, and I tend to not do that. So what I tend to do is I will go through all of my planners and pull out information that I want to keep that I may reference or need to reference and put it in one book. And usually it's like a book like this. I've had this one going since I think 2019. I'm not really sure. I don't remember what the first date is. Oh, it was my 2020 planner, but I think I started it in 2019. So I kind of do that. People are on the bandwagon now with the stuff all your reference into a binder type of thing, which is basically what this is. It's my reference book. And I've been doing this for quite a long time. I've been doing this since probably, I'd say, as far back as I can remember, using different notebooks and planners. I would just like move everything into one spot to keep it. And I've tried different variations. I've tried disc bound, and I've tried ring binders, and I've tried regular bound planners, notebooks, to do this in. And I feel like the disc or the rings works the best. Preferably not something too large. Anywhere from like an A5 to like a classic Happy Planner notebook would work. It would need to be something that you can move things around and put things in, take things out as you need to. So that's what I do to archive the information. I also keep my planners. I'm not like other people where I throw things away. So like this is my 2023 stuff. These two things here. This is like a 2020. I think this is a 2022 that I barely used. This was a 2022 I barely used. This is also a 2022 that I barely used. And this is a 2022 that, like, I hardly used the daily pages in here. I kind of did the same thing with my 23 cousin that I did with my 22 cousin, and just shoved all my memorabilia in there and whatnot. So, and then I also had this. So this is a couple, 3 years worth of stuff sitting here on my desk, really, I think. But yeah, so these all get put into a box. They usually get put into a bigger box than what I'm putting them into right now. Just because. I usually put them into like a banker's box, banker size box. And I'll stick this in here with the rest of the cards for this year. So all of this stuff I'm going to go through and take out any information I want to keep on hand, and I'll just put the rest of these into a box once I'm done with it, so that I will be able to reference it. This is a mess at this point. I have a lot of blank pages in here. a lot of notes on things, but I feel like I'm ready to actually go back into a different type of a reference book, binder, whatever. So it's kind of, I find it amusing that people are sharing these videos online now where they didn't before, where I don't even think they did it before, but like it's something I've done and haven't really talked about per se. I've talked about it a little bit in one of my other older videos, but I didn't really focus on it. So, but also I take into account when I'm putting away my old journals, like before I even start journals or before I even start planners, I try to make sure that I'm using products that will last longer. Specifically, like I do not use any of the friction ink pens. Friction is based on creating heat to remove it. So if I leave my notebook or planner someplace in a warm environment, there's a chance that I may not get that information back, even if I do put it in a freezer to like reconstitute the ink. So I tend to use stuff that is a little bit more lasting, safe, not really safe, and they're not even archival things. Like I used to use a lot of this type of pens, the micron pens, which are archival, but I've been using the Clenas, which I do not believe are archival inks, but, and I also don't believe that they're water safe. They do smear some when you highlight over them, yeah, and they smear with water. So they're not like water safe. Yeah, and they kind of smudge with a little bit of mild liner. So I also use mild liners, which I don't think are archival safe. But there's a difference between like just being archival safe and just being able to last the stand of time, you know what I mean? So I still, to this day, this is one of my favorite pens. It's the Bic. It's still one of my favorite pens. This is also one of my favorite pens, is Papermate. I like ballpoint pens. I do not like gel pens. I like the Bic quad color ones. I also like the pens that came with the Hobonichis. This is also one of my favorites. I have been using these, but I found that they do not, they smear a lot and they are not water safe. They're not water resistant. So I tend to not use those as much anymore. Yeah, so, and then I have been using, or I was using for some adhesives, I will use my double-sided sticky tape. I don't know what happened to this. This looks like it got attacked by something. I've also in the past have used some tape runners. This is the Tombow permanent tape adhesive. I've also used like knockoffs of stuff. Oops. And I've also used the extra strength craft glue, the Elmer's stick. But this does not stand up to even like a year. It really doesn't. I tried to glue something onto a cover and it just was not the best choice. Did not work well. I've also used the Elmer's glue. That did not work well. So I preferred this or something similar to this. It could be the Michaels brand or Stamping Up or Creative Memories or whatever brand you have. And And I also use this a lot. This is more so when I don't care as much about what's like it bleeding, like when I care less about the future down the road. This is usually what I use for future stuff, if that makes any sense. That made no sense whatsoever, so sorry. I also try to label everything. Like this one has the year on it. I also put the year on the spine before I started working on it. I did not do that with this one, but this one I just, like if I take it out, if I take it out of the cover, it will have the year on it. I'm just going to leave it in the cover. This one does not have the year on it. I'm just going to write the year on it here. This is a Aura Estelle Annie Plans collab that I used as a journal rather than a planner because I didn't like it as a planner, which is why I get this. And I did not buy a cousin this year, so that's not something on my plate. And this is my witchy book. This one has has 4 years of stuff in it, so this will be archived this year, and I will do a new book this coming year for all of this type of stuff, my Book of Shadows or whatever you want to call it. And every year I use these Midori clear covers that I get off Amazon, and they should be in my Amazon list that I'll try to share. I don't know what happened here. Like I have ink on my cover, and I think it came from a pen that leaked. So you see what I mean by it's not water resist. So I just wet my finger. I actually licked my finger and wiped it off. That's such a mom in me. So there we go. So I don't know if you guys are archiving any of your stuff, and if you are, if you're moving the important information into another book, but leave me a note below. Let me know how you guys deal with the books that you're finishing out the year in. And I'll catch you next time, okay? Take care. Bye.